Hi, my name is Mike Anderson. Every good story has a lesson in it. This story is a simple one. Clean out your closet once in a while. You'll never know what you might find. In my case, I recently recovered a 24-year-old Super 8 analog cassette tape that has some really good sailing footage from the 80s and the 90s. This movie should have been made last century, so now it's become a reminiscence of the building of a wooden boat and a dream from the keel up. The second part was sea trials and some lively sailing near a Navy LPD. And lastly, a hearty thanks to all those who contributed in one way or another to the Tansy, and especially to all the shipwrights throughout history, fore and aft.
Our amazing planet. A bright blue and green marble spinning counterclockwise through the vastness of space. With an incredibly diverse skin of interrelated biology. Earth is 70% covered by water and provides the wellspring of life for our cosmos. Since the dawn of man, sailors have plied these waters and endless oceans using one of the greatest tools of this biology. The living, breathing green that becomes one with liquid blue, crafted with experienced hands into the home and soul of a sailor's dream. And it's the traditional boat builder that still uses this time-honored material, wood.
Whoa, everybody. We need to build the boat first. This is where I started, but we need to look back further, to the beginning. This is a story about two unrelated boat carpenters with the same last name and both with similar dreams and values. It's how our vectors in life had crossed and how it became life-changing. In 1979, Iran stormed the U.S. Embassy, which created the American hostage crisis. About the same time, Grant Anderson began to build a sailboat in Seal Beach, California. Grant's experienced hands had just finished months of framing, planking, and pouring lead. Then that fateful day hit. A tragedy fell on the family with the passing of his brother. He fought off depression by taking a job opportunity on a supertanker headed for Alaska. I found the hull at Long Beach Marina Shipyard, forlorn and abandoned. She displayed that distinctive English bow, full keel, wide beam, shapely tumble home and transom, and in short, she was pleasing to the eye. After winning at the auction, I had to relearn the meaning of patience. I found every project was one stick at a time, starting with the boathouse. The first steps on the boat required regression. I wanted a different cockpit layout, so out came the skill saw and off came the deck. Larry Pardee surprised me at a boat show when he offered a weekend's worth of fitting deck beams in exchange for he and Lynn to take my 10-week beginning karate class in Irvine, California. Here's Lauren Hefter. She was there at the beginning and following with the finish word, always with a smile and good-natured. While aboard Taliesin, I asked Larry about the technique of spiling, which is a method of lofting a plank to fit. He spoke with the usual direct answer and sketch, and I got it. It worked perfectly, stem to stern. Every inch on a small boat is valuable, so I found it smart to mock up the interior with patterned material and plywood, so as to make the final decisions regarding perimeters, heights, and lengths of the furniture. After finishing the chain locker bulkhead, I moved on to the mast step and main bulkhead. It was diagonally splined as seen here, then T and G on the aft side. And here's my cousin Tracy Lee, came out from Tennessee to lend a hand. The Port Orford Cedar sitz tub also doubled as a very good wet locker. I loved having my family visit, however, occasionally a zombie would show up. High school friends Gary and Steve Felton with the bottle of pussers, the galley, and icebox. The boomkin, taffrail, and bulwarks were next. Then it was on to shaping the channels for the chain plates, settees, and quarter bunks. One of my favorite parts of the build was the cabin structure. Here again, mock-up was necessary for getting the right look for the boat, as well as standing headroom for a size 9. Cabin side thickness was 1.5 inch teak, splined with no outside fasteners, resorcinol glued. Then I made and installed 3/8 inch silicon bronze full-length bolts connecting the sides to the carlins. One end was threaded and the bottom had a clinch ring with peened overheads. There were plenty of fill-in projects in between building coamings and deck boxes, deck hardware, dinghy chocks, hatches forward and aft. The bowsprit and anchor rollers and windlass finished off the forward end, and the rudder and trim tab completed the stern end. The mast followed and all of its hardware. The lotus spruce was ready for milling. I made up a sample piece which consisted of a dado cut on 45 degrees, one side of 8 strakes, already scarfed to full length. The glue up went fine, and so did the shaping. Here's the rooster head before and after. Bob Doris had already drew up the new profile with the dinghy amidships and accommodating the wind vane. Margaret Williams helped with the miles of sanding. Tom Linsky and I locked ourselves in the sail loft on a Thanksgiving weekend and built the sails. Some of the tedious parts were hand-stitching grommets in the evenings and splicing Dacron lines. Launching day was a blast. We had a potluck and a live band, and all my friends were there, including my sensei, Master Fumio Demura, the real Miyagi. Completing this boat with the same integrity as I found it was my mission. I realized making that decision on auction day would change the course of my life, yet I was thrilled to do so. Hey Fredo, let's ease the sheets.
Yeah, or get blown out of the water.
Once you have breathed, smelled, and tasted the tanginess of wood, and have handled it in the process of giving it form, there is nothing, I believe, that can replace the complete satisfaction gained. Working a rough piece of wood into a complete useful object is the welding together of man and material. Sam Maloof.
Many thanks to all the hands that helped with Tansy Lee. I salute my mentors, family, and friends. One of my favorite quotes from Larry is, "Mike, be careful. Procrastinators and perfectionists are one and the same." There's plenty to contemplate in that statement from someone who has built 2 complete boats, circumnavigated twice with no motor, and married for 48 years. Bravo, Larry.
Well there, Mike. Congratulations.
Does a wooden boat have a soul? Yes, I believe they do. It's made up from all the hands who help build her, maintain her, and sail her. That's when the splendor of her soul is on parade.
I just want to say that you did a great job on the boat, and I'm real proud of you.
While Gary and I are toasting over 30 years for Tansy Lee, let's make a larger toast to all the shipwrights in the past who have taken the time to groom the next generation with hard-earned knowledge. And here's hoping that time-honored skill is never lost in the future.
When asked about boat carpenters, Tristan Jones replied, "They've a solid grip with broken nails. You won't shake a truer hand."